The pretty Sharon Tate modeling a Betsey Johnson dress. A painted model at the international opening of the Paradise Hotel and Casino, in the Bahamas, 1968. Construction at Mount Rushmore, 1939. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech during the march. Hitler inspecting the massive 800mm Schwerer Gustav railway gun, the largest caliber rifled weapon ever used in combat, 1942. Winston Churchill with a Tommy gun during an inspection near Hartlepool, 1940. Susan Sarandon has always been a kind of journeyman actor. She's played romantic leads, frightening heavies, and like in the film Pretty Baby, women on the verge of a breakdown. She credits some of the intensity that she displayed in the film on her surroundings at the time, a haunted house. Dr. Wernher von Braun, father of rocket science and Walt Disney, in 1954. The fuel tanks of the B-24H Liberator Little Warrior explode over Germany after being hit by anti-aircraft guns in 1944. Is it possible the architects had this in mind when they designed Grand Central Station? 1934. If there's someone who had a better go of it in the 1970s, then we don't know who they are. In this groovy decade, Hefner was running his own magazine, hosting Saturday Night Live, and traveling the world with a bevy of bunnies. This guy knew how to live. In the 1970s, he purchased a Gothic Tudor Revival-style property where he lived, worked and partied until he passed away in 2017. Store in Rockville, Maryland, 1964. Beachgoers have a picnic in San Onofre, July 1950. A young hippie sits cross-legged in a New York City park, 1969. As was the case with music and politics, fashion also took a bold leap forward in the 1960s. The famous 1965 Mondrian collection by French designer Yves Saint Laurent took an innovative approach to fashion by combining classical Western forms with the aesthetics of modernist fine art. Today, some of these dresses themselves are displayed at museums around the world. A surfer plays guitar to a woman next to a grass hut on the beach in San Onofre, July 1950. 1937, when even ice skating was done in a suit. Betty White in her Los Angeles home with her dog, 1952. Harry Houdini exposes spirit trickery in 1925. The Cornelia Vanderbilt wedding portrait, 1924. The Japanese wore tuba used to locate enemy aircraft before the invention of radar, circa 1930. When she was young, Madonna wanted nothing more than to get in front of millions of people and perform. Initially, she wanted to be a dancer, but she also acted in her friends' films. She grew up in a family full of kids. She was the oldest of 8, which made things hard on her as well as her parents. She often took care of her siblings while her parents were at work, which meant that she cooked, cleaned, and made sure her brothers and sisters had everything they needed to survive. The Merry Pranksters, the followers of author and LSD advocate Ken Kesey, travel across America in their specially painted bus known as Further. The construction of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, 1937. Raquel Welch has had a varied career. She's appeared as manifestations of mythological creatures, she's tempted Ringo Starr, and she appeared in the revenge western classic Hanny Calder. In the film, Welch plays a woman who seeks revenge against a group of scoundrels in the Old West. The right day to hang laundry in New York, 1900. A lion rides in the sidecar during a performance of the Wall of Death Carnival attraction at Revere Beach, Massachusetts in 1929. It took more than 15 years to take the Statue of Liberty from concept to reality. Construction is pictured here in 1884, less than 2 years before she was completed. An old photograph with a funny twist in today's context. Ed White floats just outside the Gemini 4 capsule hatch on June 3, 1965. This made White the first American to ever perform a spacewalk, which lasted 23 minutes. This 1931 photograph captures the spirit of the season as Santa delivers presents to the children of an adoption home in London. 1890s Walmart. So many great details inside this general store. It was a time when you knew your grocer and they knew you. In the early spring of 1987, in Alba Iulia, Romania, an instruction from the government was given to rework the infrastructure and make way for the boulevard. However, one apartment building stood in the way of the plan. Therefore, it was decided to split the building into two and move the parts 180 feet, 55 meters, away. Stories went around that people remained in the building all throughout the moving process, and one woman even put a glass of water on the edge of her balcony, which didn't spill a drop. Buzz Aldrin's selfie in space 1966. This Italian-Tunisian actress was famous for her stark looks, which should be a surprise. She was crowned the most beautiful Italian girl in Tunisia. After winning the crown, she traveled to Italy, where she found herself bombarded with film contracts. In the 60s she appeared in films like 8½" and The Pink Panther, but in the 1970s she appeared in a comedic duo with Brigitte Bardot in the film The Legend of Frenchy King. Vladimir Putin and his childhood friends in 1969. None of them have been seen since. The Golden Gate Bridge around 1935. Gilligan's Island star Dawn Wells stole the hearts of millions as Mary Ann, but in the 1970s she appeared in a series of genre films that are absolutely iconic. The Town That Dreaded Sundown and Return to Boggy Creek are must-see films for anyone who loves 70s B-horror. Crowds rushed through the castle on Disneyland's opening day in 1955. She was born Mary William Ethelbert Appleton Billy Burke, but you would know her as the Good Witch of the North in The Wizard of Oz. Rarely seen photo of Linda Carter hanging out in 1976. Madonna is a ubiquitous star, and even when she was a young woman she was a performer and willing to do anything for the camera. In high school she starred in the student film Egg as a human frying pan. The short film saw her lying on the hot sidewalk as an egg is cracked over her stomach. Thanks to some smart editing it looks like the egg cooks on her skin. It's definitely one of the weirder things she's ever done, and Madonna is famous for doing a lot of weird stuff. 104 years ago this fountain in Detroit, Michigan was left running, allowing it to build layer upon layer into this 30-foot icy spectacle.